ay, 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 ay.
Donovan.
Oh, man.
Hello, beautiful.
Hello, my man.
So far, we've been on air for 7 minutes and you haven't stopped laughing.
Well, it's just sort of, it's already just happened. I mean, you know, but that's like, we have an interesting relationship, isn't it? I'm kind of both excited and a little nervous.
Tell me about
when
it.
You said, well, I was like, well, how long, you know, are we gonna record for, you know? And you said, well, an hour. And I was like, we can get into a lot.
Listen, bro, we've never even passed each other in the road and not spoken for an hour. An hour is fuck all when it comes to you and I.
Yeah. So I'm guessing we can swear based on your...
No swearing from you, only me. Basically, it's my show.
Okay.
I set the rules and I make them up as I go along.
Yeah. I came with weapons because I thought you might make it unfair. So
I was not.
Actually, I brought my weapon.
That's not a guitar. It's just a can of GTX petrol,
well,
bro.
that's why it just looks like it's nothing, but we'll have to see.
Okay.
We'll have to see. I actually.
Well, we'll bring that little weapon out. I'm happy to give it a go.
Right. Okay.
Lovely to see your face. I thought
this is a Friday night for people in
I want to read something. This
in
is
the
a conversation
midlife crisis. I don't know.
Yeah, that's what I wanted to say. This is the SMS conversation, WhatsApp conversation that led up to this.
And then a meeting on the beach that sealed the deal.
First there was the meeting on the beach. That's true. First we met on the beach. Then you said to me, "Hey, bro, could Friday work?" I'm reading our text messages.
All right.
I say, "Yes." Can't remember now. Are you a drinker or not? And then you say, imagine what would happen if I was. And then you say, what could we do that would be super cool that fits in with your show?
Oh dear.
And then I say, should we try crack? And then you say,
well, as you would say,
I think that's appropriate for a midlife crisis. I love that because I think that defines how we talk to each other pretty much on a daily basis when we do.
Yeah. I think literally from the first time we met, I just saw like.
Well, I can't
that
remember.
You were crazy.
The first time we met, I can't remember why, but we ended up speaking about burning down all the Vita cafes in the whole country. And I can't remember. It was your cousin was running Vita. You said something, and I was like, "Let's get him." And that's. Can you remember what that was about?
I love my cousin. Why would we have said that?
Oh, is this a topic
PC.
to avoid?
No, it's not a topic to avoid. I'm just remembering this is about 8 years ago.
Why did we talk about Vita? I mean, I'm being open about this. I'm not joking. At this particular moment, I'm negotiating with Vita to move into my amp studio. So this is not I don't have an intentional vendetta against Vita. I want to understand why the day we met. What happened on the day we met? Remind me, because I don't remember.
You know, if I look at a theme in our relationship, I think what I'm hearing, what I'm hearing in what you say,
where we go?
When I'm adjusting my microphone nervously.
I'm going to adjust mine. There we go.
Yes, there we go. I think fire. I don't think it's about anyone or anything in particular. I just think it's about fire. And I think we recognize something of a certain kind of fire in each other. And it's just interesting too.
We've had a lot of like very deep conversations in odd places.
Yeah.
Weirdly, I'm remembering this now. I've not thought about this until this particular moment, but this is very interesting. You and I might be wrong. Tell me if I'm wrong, just tell me and I'll edit it out.
Okay.
We had a
no,
I never edit these things, so there's no editing.
I didn't think so.
We have a very
you're not an edity kind of a guy, you know.
No,
what I mean?
I'm a fucking editor. I just don't edit this show. This show is something different.
You're not an edity. You're not like this is going to be perfect. We'll keep this and this part. Ooh. we'll just
No.
slide that out. And I think that's also what I've loved about conversations with you. It's just being able to be super straight. And there's something so powerful about that, because you can see reality when you're super straight.
And not to digress. Deep. That's what I love about this particular show itself is about fucking... There's no filters here. There's no... Although, actually, the light's not so good. I'd like to put a filter on maybe for this one. I think we had a conversation, and you need to tell me if I'm right or wrong about this.
Okay.
In what was a record store, which I only figured out right now, a year later became the home for my radio station upstairs. Yeah. But it hadn't become one yet. It was still like some sort of weird record store. Did we actually talk in that place in... Huh.
I think I swapped some records. You still owe me 2 records. I think I gave
That's right. That's a very symbolic time. I'll never give you your records back. Don, how are you?
I'm awesome. This is like a time traveler. We started laughing as if it was the climax of the show in the beginning, and now you're sort of introducing like how are you doing? And this is how we roll. There's a certain there's a certain, well, we'll see whatever it is. We're recording the certain, so let's see.
Well,
let's see what
we've seen each other sort of indirectly during lockdown, because you wrote a motherfucker of a tune, bro. A song I still think is like a true classic. Tell us about that tune.
I think it's the best song I've ever written.
I don't mean this to be disrespectful, but it fucking is.
Yeah. Well, it's not disrespectful. I think it is. I think every time I sat down I wrote this last year, and every time I sat down to and literally just touched the piano or the keyboard for the song, I just wept. Like, and sometimes I shook. Like it was huge. It was a huge shift. It was over a period of months, like literally every time, until the song was complete, and then I could almost play it without bawling, I mean, I find pretty much every song I've put on an album or that's made it out to be released, I've cried at some point in the writing of the song. Not out of sadness, the kind of crying when you hit something so true for yourself, like I find when I'm just, when it's the emotional nerve of just the deep aliveness, or this kind of, I don't know how to say it, that's why I play music, but that when I hit that, then I know like I've hit something that really touches me, and then it's got a chance to connect as well, and this song just particularly, it was just a real, I wept and wept. It went deep, humanity.
It's a fucking killer tune. Let me ask you, that this is going to sound like a wanky question, but I'm going back. We've had very deep conversations that have been all about this. So to anyone listening to this now, there's a lot of context here. The search for truth.
Yeah.
What the fuck is that shit? Because I think if you're if you're a normal person going about your normal day and you hear that term, the search for truth, it's not important to you. But as an artist, it's like the elusive thing that is both pretentious and real and true, and can be either. Yeah. And I know we discuss this a lot. Yeah. Like trying to be ourselves, or find our truths, or Stop licking me, dog. That wasn't for you, Don. That was not intended for you.
Listen, just an aside. Although, don't listen to you for a bit. Listen, people. This encapsulates. This is why I started laughing early on, because I knew this was coming. It's like that. What you just saw there was just encapsulating this man so well. It's like, so the search for truth. Dog, stop licking me. Just that contradiction.
There's no contradiction. Can I tell you?
To the low.
My genuine truth at that moment. I will respond to that by saying that a true radio person would hide their truth and
Yes.
ignore that there was a dog licking them.
Do
But
not ignore
because
a dog's licking you.
I
Ever.
embrace my truth. It was what was actually happening, so I brought it into the conversation.
It's exactly
Eat that
it's-
shit.
That is exactly it. You just answered you just answered the question that we've been talking about and for a long time. It's like, I think as you were speaking, I realized as I've kind of got older and as I've gone through life, this sort of search for truth has got boring. And just being alive right now and present to what's actually happening right in this moment. It's Friday night. Here I am talking with you. What is in the
On
space?
a pink microphone. If you're going to speak
pink.
your truth,
It's not
that's
pink.
pink.
It's red. It's red and white, and then it can get
It's
blurred
pink,
into
guys.
pink.
if you're going to
Red.
if you're going to
it's-
speak your truth,
Mm.
it's a pink microphone.
What's wrong with pink?
No,
We're
no
going to open
issues
this
with that.
whole thing. Okay.
No,
just
I don't have a
checking.
problem with
Seems like you've got an issue with it,
No problem.
but we can.
No
it's
problem.
fine. It's fine. We'll come back to this. Yeah, it's like, I think it's a thing I love. I think this is going to lead somewhere. I don't know where. I think it's what I love about being on stage, particularly because it's kind of like rock climbing, or you for me, you've got to be real present the whole time, otherwise you're going to fall, and it's a subtle fall, but you lose a connectedness, and there's a presence and also an honesty to what is in the space that opens the door to an authenticity that just is like it. For me, it's it. Like I'm just thinking of Up the Creek, the last time we played there. And it's Saturday night, it's 10 o'clock, the crowd is doing their thing, and I'm playing, and I'm like, we're doing good, you know. And I see in the audience,
Not
this
me
guy-
naked, right?
No. No. Oh, well.
Okay.
This guy, he's got sort of flames on his jacket, sort of, he's painted them on or something, and he's got this hat, and he just yawns. He's just like,
Fuck. While you're playing your tits off
and we
on the
are
stage.
like, whoa, did you
Because if you've ever seen hot water, there is no there's no space for yawning.
Well, and he was like, I don't know, just I saw it. It was like this, but in a way it was a doorway face. I mean, no one else is really seeing that because everybody's, you know, sort of facing this way. I'm seeing it. And I just couldn't not deal with it. So I sort of stopped and I was like, hold on. The band's sort of chilling and it's going. And I'm like, I thought we were doing quite well. That dude just yawned, like a massive yawn. And it just opened into, he came on stage and then he was...
What? Hold on a second.
stage
Why
then.
is he coming on
could
stage
come
now? The guy that was yawning on the...
Come on stage.
You
It's like
invited
once you-
him.
I invited him on stage. Like, I'm just trying to remember what happened. He said something. And...
He didn't say,
I know,
get off
I know,
the
I said-
stage.
No. It wasn't like that. And I think he was just yawning because he was tired. It was like, this is the third night of, you know, Up the Creek. People, you know, are tired. And I think I was like, wow, if you think you could do better, why don't you come on stage? I think I did
Nice.
something like that, right? Not in a negative,
Yeah.
because I mean, to get negative is a complete disaster on stage, and I just don't do it. So it wasn't like that. It was just to deal with what's in the space in a way that embraces it but acknowledges it, even if it's tricky. This is what you're saying. So he comes onto stage. He comes and says to me, "Dude, I can play guitar." So I'm like, all right, something is happening here. And this is all inside of calling what's in the space. Like, here the dog's licking my leg and your microphone.
So let me just get straight. The guy
So he
yawning in the crowd, you say,
in the crowd.
hey you, yawning man,
Yep.
come up on
Yep.
stage. Man comes
Yes.
on stage and says to you, hey, Don, I can play the guitar. And you go, all right, bro, let's do
All
this
right.
thing.
I pull out my backup blick guitar. There you go. We start playing. I think we were towards the end of the set, so it was when the set was particularly, you know, sort of pumping.
So a lot can go wrong at this particular moment.
Wow, dude, you can't call what you do hot water and not be open to things going wrong or getting in trouble. You know what I'm saying? So he we plug him in, and I'm like, oh, you know, it's risky when you do this, and you, it's only you can't force this. This is just being in the moment with it, and people can feel like, you know, I think some people thought it was a setup because he starts to play. So I start the song, and he can play. He can actually play. It turns out I've never met him, and I don't know, but like he's a sort of up and coming musician. So he starts playing, and of course now the crowd, because the audience is like one thing, right? One person in the crowd represents the crowd. That's what I love about bringing. We almost always bring people on stage. It almost just happens naturally for a hot water show towards the end, at least, because it just connects, you know. So he's on stage, and now it's like there's a piece of the audience on stage performing with us, and he smashed it, and he stayed on for the rest of the show, like 10 minutes, the finale. And it was incredible. It just created another level of connectedness. And I think, you know, that's what got me into music. Now that we sort of there, I was in my early 20s, I was 20, and I felt so disconnected, dude. Like I felt completely on my own. I was like desperately disconnected. Like
what were you going to do if you weren't going to play music?
I didn't know. I only decided I was going to really do music in my late 20s. Yeah. So I was really in a difficult place, and I think music came through when I got to a place where I was open to like, I was open to life, as to like, okay, life, well, what do you want me to do? What is the best use of this dude? And then music came along as a way to kind of connect. So it came from it came out of a really deep need to connect. And I've realized this also in the last year of going like, wow, I sort of socialize like that, because I'm not like, I don't really go out, like I don't drink, I don't really go out and jawl in the usual way. I guess I do a lot of the socializing just by playing music with people, you know, for people, and it is with people, because something about playing South African music, if I'm going to wear a shirt like this and pull it off and play South African music, play a guitar like that, you really got to allow the spirit of the music to sort of possess you, you know, and I think the spirit of South African and African music is that everybody's involved. We're all a part of it, quite distinctly. I mean, so, you know, in a big rock concert, everybody's involved in a different kind of way. It's maybe a little subtler, but there's something about the African way that embraces everything, and you know, I love that about it.
This is not a judgmental question. What is the and there doesn't need to be an answer, and it's just related to this. Well, it's interesting.
This is a non-judgmental question, and it doesn't have an answer. Okay.
No, what I mean is this show. It's related to the show. What is the reason that you don't sort of drink, or what are your vices? Is actually my question to do that. And do you mind if I drink? Because I'm gonna. Because that's the.
What have you got?
I've got a beautiful Glendronach like 2008 Scottish.
It looks like a massive shell from like World War.
Well, that's not the bottle's inside.
Okay, I got it.
And okay, again, I don't mind if there's an answer or not. It's not me.
You can ask me any question you want.
That is the question.
But I just never gelled with me.
Well, I understand that a lot, bro.
I just felt like grotty, and was just like, ugh. And I find I just got agitated and just like, I just
what
didn't
do you
enjoy
do?
it.
Do you smoke lots of?
Not really, no. I mean, I've never taken drugs as well. The plot thickens. It's like, I've literally never taken any drug. Even the drug that is legal right now, I've never done that. And I guess it's part of the thing of going like,
I'll be honest with you now. I haven't either.
Have you seriously not?
No, and I'm one of the only people that...
Unhinged.
You're the only other person I know that I could actually admit this to. Dude, because I've never taken a drug. No. I want to take them, but I know this is the...
Dude, don't take drugs.
I want to take them
for
all.
you. I mean, it's not, I don't feel judgmental about it. It's just like, it's just like, I just feel like, ooh, that would be dangerous. I feel like I'm sort of on the edge
Well, this is what I do identify with you on this.
It's like, and so are you. There's like that.
What's going on in my head right fucking now does not need to be fucked with, because it's pretty fucking messy as it is. There's a lot of crazy shit running through my head.
Plus, dude, and here we're going back to the deep conversation. Plus, if you get really, really honest, and I remember this sort of kick-started something, because when I was 20, I was at UCT for a year. I'd gone traveling overseas. I'd gone to India, and I'd gone just to travel, not for anything specific at all. And I didn't really know what I wanted to do, and I was actually, something's just jumping up. There's a little story I want to tell here before I get to wherever I was going. I sort of almost lost track of it. But I was at UCT, and the whole year, I just did a year. And
what were you studying?
I was studying a BA. So I did like drama.
So you were very focused. You knew what you wanted.
Yeah. I didn't know. So I was like, what am I going to do?
That was a joke.
Yes. I got it. I'm in my deep and meaningful
fucking laugh, bro.
Okay. I've already laughed. Come on. So dude, the whole year was worth it for one sentence that someone spoke. We were sitting in an auditorium, and up on stage was Peter Dirk Ace. And he had come to give the drama students a talk.
That dude was power. Fucking power.
So we're there, and everyone's there and listening, and he just says this one thing, and everybody you just feel the whole room just whoom. He goes, "You don't choose theater. Theater chooses you."
Nice.
And I was like, you could see everyone thinking like, has theater chosen me? Has it chosen? Is everyone thinking like, has theater chosen me? It was so profound. It was like I experienced a bell going off. You know, that's why I don't take drugs, because it's like a bell going off, or the bell didn't go off, but it was like as if a bell had gone off. It literally was just like dong. And at that time, I hadn't started playing music. But the following year, when I started playing music, the bell was there, because it gripped me, it possessed me. This is a possession of sorts. And that sort of sounds weird, but it's just gripped me. It's just gripped me. I'm in service to it, you know. And so then I realized, oh, that's what he means. So it was music that gripped me. It wasn't theater, but it's not far from it, you know, being on stage.
It's next door.
And it really that landed
on a smaller stage
so
with less people, just around the corner.
Wow. Hey. What are you saying? Are you trying to, with people that don't know who I am really, or going like, oh, is he only playing on small stages?
No. I was making a joke about the people who attend theatre versus the people who attend music concerts. Yes. That's all I was doing. Nothing aimed at you. Calm down. Okay. Can you tell me?
So you're saying, what were my vices? Did you see there? My vice is I have a temper. There's the fire.
Oh,
so I can go from zero to hero.
Yeah, I just saw such an angry.
Exactly. That's why if you look at my first song, it's called Bushfire. It was around being angry. No, seriously, the very first song. And
I remember that.
And
tune.
I sat down. Yeah, and I sat down. It's one of my, like, it's done like up there with the top few songs of mine. That's like really been a pivotal part of my career. I played it every show. I pretty much start every show with it. Now that I think about it, it's like for years and years and years. I've just never found anything better. It sort of ignites something, I guess. And that song, I had decided like, hey, next time I feel angry and I want to break something, how do I deal with this? And it's like, well, I'm going to channel it into music, because that's what I use music for, to handle, especially in those times when I had less skills and less sort of experience to handle myself. It's like, so literally I was like, It was late one night. I just got into a rage. I was like, oh, jeez. I was seriously on fire. And it came up because I was scared I was going to be recording a demo the next day. So it was in response to like the confrontation of like recording something before, when the first time I'd really done it. So I was extremely triggered. I was in a race. I'm like, okay, you decided you're going to sit down and you're going to write. And I literally did that. I had a little 4-track recorder. I was alone. My wife's Irish.
4-track recorder, what's this, 1943?
No. I'm 44. 45, the end of the war. I don't know. Okay. So I sit down and I'm like, what am I going to play? And I remember this feeling of hearing, I think it was a musician I'd heard on the side of the road in Joburg years ago. And this feeling of this like, I couldn't remember how it was. I just had the feeling of it. And I just played this. So, do you want me to play it quickly? Or is it that enough of a demonstration? So
it wasn't enough of a demo. Your voice isn't enough for me, Don.
Yeah. You're going to have to get Adele on next. If you wanna.
Yeah. Guys, as soon as Donovan's finished with this, we've got Miley Cyrus, who's...
So I literally sat down and I was like... And I just recorded like 4 minutes of this first track. Then the next thing was I just put, like, I had a drum, sort of bit of a drum set in my room. I was just like, and I put that on. And I put a little shake on. And then I was like, okay. And then I just literally was like, I don't know what I'm going to sing about. I just pushed record, dink, and I was like, well, I'm going to sing about fire because I'm angry. And I was like... And then I looked out the window and there was a mountain that had burnt down. It was in Noordhoek, like the year before.
Happens every second week.
Yeah, exactly. So I was like, oh, there's like a fire outside. And then I literally just sang what was there. I was just saying, there's a bushfire raging outside my house. And there's a bushfire raging inside my life. Well, deep burning anger has come into my heart. I decide not to break things because I've done that before and it doesn't work. Oh, well, there's a bushfire burning inside my heart. I don't know where to go, but I just make a start. I sit down, while I sit down. Oh, you got to burn, burn, burn another one down to the burn, burn, burn another one down. Burn, burn, burn another one down to the ground. And literally, it took that anger into the space that you see. Literally, I just did right to burn, burn, burn another one down. Burn, burn, burn another one down. Burn, burn, burn another one down to the ground. Another one down to the ground. So that's really what it was. And I was at the time, I was like, oh, those lyrics are so plain and so... I was sort of, my judgmental mind sort of jumped in a little bit. You know, and I was like, well, that's what's there for me. And it's, you know, it's so straight up. You can hear, you know, when I think about it, like if you really want to find out about, and I do it to find out about myself, like you just read the lyrics of the songs. They tell you the most honestly what my experience of life has been. No holes barred.
Beautiful, man.
And I think Home, you know, did that to a
that fucking song, bro.
Like a depth, to a depth that, to a depth.
No, that song is, yeah, I don't know. I don't have words to express that song. You know, those songs where the first time you heard it, you remember the moment of hearing the song, going like, fuck. I remember where I was sitting the first time I listened. I heard Blue Eyes for the first time. You know, when I heard your song Home, I was just like, motherfucker. Because you also, you know, the other thing about it is you've sent me stuff, great stuff, and you always like, okay, it's complicated because you've got to listen to something and then I've got to report back. But that tune, it was just like undeniable, which was fucking, is incredible.
Yeah. It is. It just silences me when I play it.
Say again?
It just silences me.
Well, that shouldn't happen.
like,
You're trying to sing the fucking song.
No, but it just silences everything. It just sort of silences the me that gets in the way of experiencing the authenticity of life. That's the me. It's a different. It silences the part that just makes a noise and gets in the way of actually just experiencing how completely psychedelic a space we are in, which just wraps up that little part of the conversation. It's like you wanna get high or spin out. You just go like, we are sitting on a little stone in the middle of nowhere. No one really knows what's going on. We don't even know really how on earth can I see you in picture coming through the air immediately.
It's magic.
It's mind-blowing if you just take a moment to be present to reality. It's like what else is there? And I think that, by the way, also just touches off how I got into music. One of the things that sparked it was just being present to... We'll come back to this. Say what you're going to say. I've gone deep enough.
Are you in front of a piano now?
Yeah, I am.
Okay, good. I don't want to play home. I want to wait till the end. I want to play it at the end because that song is a fucking beast. And if you play it now, we won't be able to talk afterwards for the next 20 minutes. I want to ask you about this. You know, I've seen Hot Water at least 6 times. I mean, the power and the energy of what you guys do is amazing. But I want to ask you about...
the but in the space.
There's no but.
The
time you met Johnny Clegg, who I know is one of your all-time heroes. Tell me about the time you met him.
I met him lots of times. I was extremely fortunate and privileged to spend many teas, lunches. He came to my house in Noordhoek. He came to I invited him and David Kramer to the launch of my album Song Goma at Kirstenbosch Gardens, and they actually, you know, the two of them sat together. They hadn't seen each other for 15 years. I had someone look after them, put like right in before anybody arrived, you know. We just put like a cool little blanket down and they were like right there. It was wild. So he was, what a dude, incredibly warm, incredibly generous, and, you know, I bounced songs sometimes off him. It was yeah, besides just the emotional contact, which started for me when I was 9 years old, and I was, you know, even though I only got into music later, when I look back, I can see I was 9. I was living in the States with my family, and for like a year we were away, and I was so homesick. And we were with my aunt. It was in California somewhere, and they had Jaluka. This was in the 80s. And I remember playing the music, and it was like... if I think of it, it was like maybe my first spiritual experience. Something happened that I was just like, yo.
Was it a song or was it the album? Do you remember what you were listening to? I can't even remember
the album. I just remember just needing to put that on and just... I think the start of that thing gripping me started there. It was like, whoa, something... When I look back now, I see like, whoa, something happened there. Something got me there. It was like a seed that was planted. So it started there, and that was the, you know, there's, for me, Johnny Clegg's power is that he represents something bigger than, oh, this is a dude. He represents something bigger, something that connects. That heart, that space that came through him, that he allowed. And, you know, so I was connected with that, like many South Africans were.
I did a documentary on him.
But you know, did you?
15 years ago.
What haven't you done? You just have
2002. I did a documentary series, and he was one of the documentaries. And looking into that man's life was unfucking believable. People do not understand. They think spirit of a great heart, whatever. That dude was so fucking much deeper. So fucking, he was real deal to the motherfucking core.
Yeah.
Like, edgy as shit. He wasn't doing it to be a pop star. He was doing it because he was fucking that thing. He was that guy.
He was handling the dog licking his leg.
So
I know it's wrong. I know it's bad, but I've made it. I just said it because he was handling what was in the space at the time. He did his job.
Yeah,
he did his job.
Changing what was in the space, bro.
Well,
the guy
he was changing it because he was handling it. Because you can't change it until you acknowledge it, right? It's like I can acknowledge, oh, geez, I've handled getting angry because I'm a fiery, passionate character. So the flip side of that is like, well, you're going to get angry. It's like, okay, I'm responsible for that. How am I going to handle it? It's just this character comes like that. You know?
So meeting him for the first time, that's what I want to know.
When did I meet him for the first time?
What was I'm sure you once told me a story. I can't remember it now about Johnny Clegg.
Meeting him for the last time.
Okay,
I can't remember you know, I think I met him because we opened for him a few times. So I think I met him at one of those concerts like years and years ago, you know, 8, 9 years ago. We opened at Durban Botanical Gardens at a few things. So it was just sort of like a sort of casual meeting. And then it sort of just started to kind of grow from there. And then when I was in Joburg, I would go and have like tea and discuss, you know, different stuff.
Tell me about a conversation that you would have had. How would it have gone? What might you have said? What might he have said?
I think what jumps to mind is talking about the social ills of a country at any given time, and art, music handling an aspect of those social ills in a way that like nothing else could. And going like, you know, who's handling that now? You know, I think that was one conversation that we had around, okay, what are the social ills? And it was like, wow, they seem insurmountable now. They're quite tricky to put your finger. There's so many, you know, in a way. And in his time, it was a little simpler. It's like, there's the problem. That's what it's called. This is what it is. It's like simpler, you know, but like it was easy to, like there, if we look at South Africa now, it's like, it's sort of split, it's fragmented, and it just seems completely insurmountable. And I think it is insurmountable on the level that we're trying to deal with it. On this level, nah, it's insurmountable. We have to, there has to be a change of perspective, a deep one, a very deep one, I think. What were you saying though? You were asking about?
I was asking about your conversations with Johnny.
When I last met him, shall I share that?
Yeah.
The first show of his last concert, his Final Journey. It was Final Journey, I think it was called. In Cape Town, I went and saw the show, and I went backstage after, and just there were like a few people that were sort of coming in and going, and he was sitting on the sort of couch, sort of on the side, these two armchairs, and I went and sat with him, and there was a moment where it sort of had calmed down and people were away, and it was just him and I. And I was kind of holding his hand. I've got some pictures. They're just so sort of personal, and so I was just sort of holding his hand, and we were sort of, I can't even remember what we said, but there was just this, sort of silence of sorts, you know. And then it was time to go, and he kind of got up and he took my face and he kissed me on the cheek, like a godfather almost, you know. Like a mafia. Like it was just like, I was like, whoa. And that was it.
Was that something? I'm assuming that's not something he did every time you met him.
No. I mean, he was incredibly warm and incredibly generous. But there was just this moment, and there was like these leather couches, and that was a really Godfather moment. It was just like the Godfather of this arena just kissed you, you know.
Tell me a little bit about your upbringing, your parents. You know, there are, I mean, I only know of, I'm sure there might be more. There are two Copley brothers who are both exceptional. And I'm interested to know what created this dynamic duo.
From a growing up point of view, from a parenting point of view. Your parenting point of view, growing up.
Yeah, like what do you and your brother, what is the little secret sauce? Because the two of you are doing crazy shit at the, you know, and not related, you know, it's not like the Baldwin brothers, because you're not playing in the same arena. It's not like you're getting acting roles because your surname is Copley. You're doing two different things. Yeah. You are both forging very alternative paths in different industries. Yeah. I mean, it's both entertainment. Yeah, you're right. I'm interested to understand what's underneath all that shit.
I mean, sometimes understanding it, and often it's in conversations like this, you kind of get a clearer picture of it. Like as I talk to you, things are getting clearer. It's like I've got 3 sons, and actually the one, you know, a 13-year-old, a 6-year-old, and a 4-year-old. And the 13-year-old's now a teenager, and I'm starting to go like, well, you know, in a few years he's sort of out of here. And
that's what you think.
Yeah, exactly. Unless COVID carries on, in which case he's there till he's 32 and beyond. And I was like, well, the one thing that's there for me is when you get stuck in your life, have a conversation. Like, because you get stuck, it's like, well, you get stuck in your own mind. It's like having a conversation, obviously what kind of conversation, but an empowering conversation with someone who can really be present to what's there. Because it's creative, you work it out in the space. Things can, you know, sort of become clearer in things as it is for me. This is interesting to sort of see, oh, that's how that fits together. Oh, yeah, wow. You know, that's a different perspective on my life. As I get older, I can sort of, there's more life to kind of see, oh, look at this. What is this? It's almost like a seed. It starts to grow. It's like, what is it? I don't know. Who is this dude? I don't know. I started Hot Water like that. I didn't start it like a band. I started it not knowing. Going like, I don't know what this is. It was open. There was, people would come and go, and I'd sometimes big, sometimes small. It was not like a set thing. People moved in and out. It was like a jam with this. It was very, very open. But I started it as a place to kind of go like, just to grow and go like, something is here. Something has gripped me. I don't know what it's going to look like. I know there's something South African about it. Well, I'm a South African, so naturally it is. And it's like, I just started watering the plant. And it's like, oh, found this T-shirt yesterday. You know, it's just like, it sort of just grows like a song does. You know, you're right. You give it attention like a child does. You hold the space and you give attention. And so like, my life's like that. I don't really know what I'm doing on one level. This is
Don, my question was about how you...
So yes. But I'm framing it nicely for you.
No, I get it. I love it. I love the poetry of it
all. Guys,
I'm
on the fringe of komiki right now. If I don't go deep and play harmonica at some point during this we've got quarter of an hour left, then it's like a failure.
No, I love this conversation.
But you want me to answer your question, and the answer
is sex.
Yeah.
Tell me about
what was the secret ingredient.
Not secret ingredient.
No, I'm just kidding.
Let's put the secret ingredient to the. I'll come to that. We'll build to that. Yeah. My question is, tell me a bit about your parents, the qualities. You know, was your childhood great? Was it difficult? Was it easy? What were your parents like? What were the things that...
It was difficult for me because I was difficult.
What was your relationship with your brother like growing up?
It was great. He was always clear that he was like making movies, like from very early. I remember it was cartoons. I remember him drawing cartoons, and it morphed very fast into films, Hollywood, junk. So he was shooting stuff, and I was, always the younger brother in part of that, often the bad guy.
Oh, good for you.
Playing different stuff. So I think he was clear from the beginning. I think.
And your parents?
They're very extreme, sort of masculine, feminine. My mom is highly intuitive, sensitive, sort of spiritual. My dad was a scientist. Now he sort of morphed into more alternative and sort of became and has become sort of eccentric and such an interesting character. I mean, they're both amazing. I really love them, and I'm really grateful
Are they still
to them.
Together?
Yeah, no, they're not. That's why I'm going like this. But they are. They're sort of these worlds apart. They're real wild contradictions of masculine and feminine. My dad is a scientist and a rationalist and I think something of that sort of creates an interesting opening. And I think there was an open-mindedness about, you know, how they approached life as sort of, even though the family was they were quite tight in a certain way, sort of, but there was an openness as well, I think, that created the space for us to sort of quite easily follow what we wanted to do. I never felt like, whoa, you better go and do this at all, ever. Maybe almost nothing. There's a point my dad sort of stepped back when I was sort of in my late teens, and he just wasn't there to kind of do anything. It was kind of like, it was almost too much space, but I think they gave a lot of space to go like,
earlier on you said you were,
I think they gave a lot of space.
You were a problem. You said you were a problem, but you said it, I wasn't sure if you were joking or not. Why were you difficult? What was difficult about you?
Because I've got fire in me. I've got creative fire.
So what were you causing trouble at school?
Yeah, well, sort of. I think, you know, I've got 3 kids, and my youngest is the most fiery. And when he was young, it was quite difficult. Like the other 2 were pretty easy. And then he sort of came along, and he took a while to speak, and he was like, and it was like, this is quite intense. And as soon as, we worked out, and now he's known as Joy Boy in the house, because when he wakes up or comes in, he's like the star of the show. He just brings this joy. Man. He's just like, Psh! Like most of the time, he's just incredible. And part of that shift was 2 things. One, he gradually learned to speak. He could express himself, and then his sort of energy calmed down. And then we also just gave him a lot of attention, because the third one gets less attention than the others, and we're busy and we're on, you know. So it's like, give him attention. He's a performer. He needs to sort of strut. He needs, you know, each kid is different. What do they need? This is like a different plant. Give them space to see what they are. It's like tending a garden. I see it as a father. It's like I'm tending this garden of these things that are growing, and I'm giving more and more space. First, it's like real close, you protect, and then it's slowly. Not too fast, it's just a slow like this. Now a 13-year-old starts kicking. It's a slow sort of like, don't be too tight, don't be too loose, and give the space. So yeah, the fiery guy, I can, you know, relate to in that particular way. I'm the fiery guy. And it's the performer. It's the performer in me, and I don't think I recognized the performer in me until later on in my life in the same way. It wasn't recognized. There wasn't a channel for it. So it came out in trouble. So when I met my French teacher many years ago, she said, "What are you doing?" And I just started hot water, and she was like, I've got this project called hot water. And she's like, well, that's appropriate because you're always in hot water at school. And when I look at it, I think I was in hot water because, you know, not in the traditional way of sort of, you know, smoking behind the building kind of thing. It was just, I was quite outspoken, and I think it was like I was the same, take Don. Shit with teachers.
I was a cheeky motherfucker. I was in detention every week.
The dog is licking my leg, miss, in the class. I would say what was there. I've been sensitive to what is in the space.
That's bullshit. Sorry, but what you're saying is cuck.
Exactly. And that's the job of the creative, is to speak what is in the space in a way that makes it digestible or accessible. This is our role as part of the community. It's like, and if that role isn't being channeled, it's going to cause trouble. And that's what I'm saying with my lighty, is like, he's going to cause trouble. And that's my experience of raising boys. has just been, when there's trouble, they are not getting my attention. And every time it's like that. And I give them the attention for a period of time and they settle down. It's like they're calling for the attention. They need the attention. And the little guy particularly, in a very specific way. And I think the more I...
So do you see that in yourself?
Handle that. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And I'm still like, okay, there's, you know, when I got into playing music, I just caused a lot less trouble and I made money from the trouble. I took the anger that wanted to break something in my house.
And made bushfire.
And I literally made bushfire, and that song has made me, you know, it actually kickstarted my career because I got a sync. I got, you know, it landed with within the first year, it landed.
Where did you put, which room did you put the sync in?
Yeah, so for people that don't know what a sync is, it's like, you know, it was synchronized to an advert. And that kickstarted my career. It was a lot of money at the time. So, I mean, I made a lot of money from that song, and that really helped my career start. So, yeah.
How would... You and your brother are close. So just for those who are listening, I'm not making a thing out of this, just saying your brother is Don Copley, a Hollywood superstar. How would he describe his brother, Donovan? I'm asking that, you know, to someone who's obviously close to you, understands, and the both of you have quite a lot of similarity in the way you work. So I'm interested in still unpacking that little secret thing inside there in the Copley formula.
Because we both do sort of crossover, South
shit.
Africanness. Yeah, we both just sort of crossover South African. You sort of facilitated some of that shit along the way with that thing that he did with Charlize and all that, right? You kind of called on that.
Oh, I did a project with him. Yes, that was me.
Yeah,
me and Charlize and Charlto did a sketch for the Summers. That's true. I forgot about that.
So you've weaved. You're in there. Don't worry. You're in there. You're in there. You're part of the process here. Totally. You really are. I think we once did this thing for the Cape Town International Film Festival, where we sat on a couch together, and someone asked him a similar kind of question,
but not as eloquent, surely.
No, not as direct.
I phrased it. Not as direct.
No, not as direct. It was less sort of direct, because I had, you know, the reason I was there is because I had that song of mine, Wamkele Kile, in the film, the Warner Brothers film Blended. Thanks, man. I also love it. And so, yeah, it's turned out to be one of the sort of most prominently used, just 5 minutes of the song in a film, which is, I think, you know, I don't know of another South African song that's been used like that. So it's sort of up there, which is really amazing. And I think so we were sort of talking, you know, that was the connection to film. And I remember him saying, this dude is really honest. And it comes back
about
to saying,
you. That's what he said about you.
He's really honest, and he stayed with his vision of a South Africa that can work, a South Africa that seems. He stayed with this vision, and I think he mentioned, like, Johnny Clegg has held a certain space. This is what I see this dude doing, even when many people are not. I think those are the two things that he said. Wow. Your big brother has an impact on you. Now, just thinking about that, you know, like,
I know
it is. It's huge. It's like it's almost like another layer of a parent. I was actually thinking about it today and going, like, you sort of equal as brothers in a general sense, but it's like, well, it's your big brother.
No.
He's sort of. I watch it with my kids. You know, the little guys are sort of behaving like the bigger guy. They sort of are parented by the biggers. That's one of the big guys in the space.
I'm in my 40s. My brother's 3 years older than me, and when he tells me shit, it's like a parent.
Yeah, but he's also
it's very influential. An older brother.
Yeah, no, he has been very influential, definitely.
Yeah, I you know, when a parent or my older brother talk, I immediately revert to childhood. I don't know how to be an adult around them. It's very difficult for me. I'm still trying to figure that out. Like having a beer. My dad's no longer with us. I wish he was. But I remember, like, even having a beer with my dad, so hard, because treating those people like people is very hard. I still have that with my brother. I'm just my brother talks to me and he asks me like a hard question, like, you know, like, are you doing the right thing at work? And I'm suddenly like, you know, I'm totally doing everything right, and you know, I'm just, everything's going great, and I'm just the best, you know. Everyone loves me, and it's great.
I am good enough.
Yeah, that's how. When my brother asks me that question, I go straight into that mode.
I do have a pink microphone.
Finally! That was the purpose of the last hour. I'm going to ask you this question, and you can think about it.
All right.
And I guess it's the preamble to home in some sense, and that is.
Alrighty.
What do you think is either the hardest or the most difficult thing you've had to do or learn that has made you who you are today?
Say it again.
And you don't have to say meeting me. If you don't want to. I mean, you can.
Yes. Okay.
I mean, no pressure.
Ask it again. It's a great question.
Let me think about the question a bit deeper. What is is there a thing? Okay, let me rephrase it. What is the obstacle that you've had to overcome in the life you've had to learn the lesson that you needed to learn to make you, or at least put you where you are today to do what you're doing? I actually think that was a better way to ask the same question. I wish I fucking edited these things, because then I could have just cut out the first version.
Can I go big with this?
Please go tiny.
I think, I mean, there's lots of little things sort of popping to my mind. Okay, this and this, but the ultimate, how do I say that, is really handling, is distinguishing.
See, this is the thing. If you'd been drinking whiskey for an hour with me,
you
would just come out with this.
When I get stuck, when I get stuck, I just...
Is that Hubba Bubba? Oh no, it's Chappies.
Hubba Bubba,
bro,
you
that's classic.
Nationalistic.
See that? Who has fucking Chappies?
I have Chappies. I've got lots of
Chappies. Were used to be 2 fucking cents. Now they're like 46 cents. What the fuck's up with that?
Let's see what color I'm gonna get you. Oh,
I'm gonna shut up. I'm gonna be quiet. I didn't need to
say anything about the microphone. I jumped the gun with that because I don't.
Wait, you gotta read that. Please read the joke.
No,
read the joke on the
paper.
Chappies, right? Oh.
But I do have a pink Chappie.
That's fate telling you. That's fate telling you that with this question, this very big question I've asked you, you gotta take it on the chin and be real.
Poison. That was my poison.
I finally got this.
I'll just chew my pink Chappie.
I'm going to sit back and I'm not going to interrupt you or make any jokes, because I think we're hitting something important here, and I don't want to distract you or give you an excuse to not go there. So I'm going to just pour myself another one of these.
Okay. You have your poison. I'm chewing my poison. Chappies, shout out. You know what I love about Chappies?
No. I don't want that.
It's gonna lead in. You gotta go with the flow, baby. You gotta go with the flow. See, look, I'm in the zone here. Look at this. Look what this has done here. Huh? I'm all like my inhibitions.
Fuck, it just took one Chappies, bro. Now I know. Now I know
one
what to do.
Chappie, and I'm in the game.
If I ever want to get you in bed, I'm just gonna drop a Chappies into your drink when you're not looking.
Yeah, we had to go. Yeah, you always throw one of these my way. Oh, is that a pink microphone? Okay. I think the thing, and it's ongoing. No, I was going to say what I love about Chappies. What I love about Chappies is that everybody, it's a South African brand that crosses culture without going near culture. I was in Masiphumelele down the road with this t-shirt just yesterday. I literally found out, I went in, they called me and they were doing a launch for some soup kitchen thing with the We Are Africa guys that I was overseas with last year, travel stuff. And I went in and I took Chappies as well and played some music and had a jam with the guys there. And everybody gets Chappies. There were some people from overseas, some foreigners, and the little 3-year-old kids running around, and it was just like everybody got the Chappies thing. There's something, it just says, to me, it just says South African and a certain kind of joy and just a sort of this happiness and this childlikeness. And, you know, it's coming back to that, and what's in the way of that is a whole bunch of stuff that's become what I think I am. Beliefs, like this conglomerate of, I had this experience and I thought, I don't trust these people, or I grew up in apartheid South Africa. If I see African people on the beach, there's still something that twinges. Now you can go, well, don't go there. It's like, yeah, but that's how you trained. If you don't go there and you don't acknowledge what's in the space, you cannot deal with it. The moment you can distinguish there's something in the space that is the past, it ain't here now. It ain't real now. All sorts of different things that you decide about life. It's like you're saying with your brother, you know. It's like, well, how I've found to deal with that is like to have conversations to update where things are actually at. Otherwise, you're living like a 6-year-old or a 9-year-old or 12-year-old making a decision about something.
I get
that
it.
Becomes... Yeah, the identity that I'm like, oh, I'm going to get angry because I feel threatened because, you see? And it's like, but that's not reality because I'm responding like a 7-year-old or a 9-year-old. But I'm 44 years old. When I come back to reality, most of the time we don't live as humans in reality. So life is pretty shit because we're living in a delusion of like the past cuck fear and the future fear. So for me, it's a daily, consistent thing. Whoops! Oh, the piano's trying to say something. You know, it's an ongoing thing, and I think I've just got better and better at it. And I would say it's distinguishing. It's kind of distinguishing what I'm not or what's there from the past that is no longer real, and I miss out on life. And when I can do that, like I was when I sort of started to feel a little angry with you earlier on, the moment you can see, oh look, that's not real right here.
Hey, why were you angry with me? What did I do?
No, you said something and you said, oh, I saw you flare up. And there was a little bit. I was a little
What did I say?
Yeah, earlier on. You're like, oh, I could see you got a bit angry there. And I was like, yeah, that's just my vices.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So that's part of it. It's like, well, something happened that set up this identity that is Donovan in a certain way. And it's like, well, but I get to choose how I'm going to be being at any time if I can take responsibility and acknowledge something in the space that's not actually real and be present to what is actually real. And there's an aliveness that happens there that I think infuses and gives power to hot water and what I do that I've worked on. So that's the deep answer. In the background, that's the work that I'm fascinated by, and that makes all the difference in my life. There's been lots of different things and trials along the way, and oh God, there's an incredible journey of stories I could tell you about it, but the overriding big picture one that's ongoing is
Donovan Copley. You know, yes. I love you, right?
I do actually, and
I know you
the
do.
feeling is 100% mutual, and I just love knowing you. I do. It's just one of those relationships where it's like,
I love knowing you as well, and I love our chat
and bumping into you and just chatting with you, and it's wonderful to just share. And I'm glad we were able to share some of our conversation with people.
Like you're not answering my question, and I'm not. I feel that
too big.
We go deep when we talk. We go fucking crazy deep. But I think I'm asking you something way more personal than I don't mind going big.
Yeah.
But I want to.
You did say go small, and I didn't. I went big.
No, I was being facetious when I said that because I thought you were gonna. I know where you went with it, but I want to understand more about you. This conversation is not about the universe, even though it's related. And I'm trying to get.
You're right.
I'm trying to drill down on surely, and the reason I ask this is because, I mean, my very limited mental capacity in this space, I can tell you, like, this fucking thing that happened to me is the reason I fucking do these things. And I think when I look at my own self, I understand that that is a pivotal moment. And if I were to tell you that story, you would know a lot more about me, way deeper than me telling you what I believe.
Yeah.
So my question was,
I get what you're saying.
Do you remember something that turned you into the person that you are, or that you are today? And the answer might be no. Or the answer could be when fucking Billy McKenzie told me I had a small dick in the showers when I was 13. That's the fucking moment I went, right, now I've got to prove everyone wrong. And that's the question I'm asking. Because where home comes from, related, is a fucking deep place, and I'm trying to find more out about that place.
Yeah, as I was sort of answering the question, I was like, this is almost going shallower, even though it looks like it's going deeper. It's true. As I was speaking, I was like, this is the shallowest we've talked in the conversation.
No, I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it to be shallow.
No, but I agree. It was. No, but even that answer, it's like, it's almost not personal enough. It's too theoretical, even though it is true, and that is what I do, and I practice that, and it makes a difference in my world. What you're asking, I get what you're asking. In a very crass way, the reason I insist that, and you're not alone here, I love
and
it. It's brilliant.
The reason I insist people drink on the show is to try and get out of their heads and tell me shit they wouldn't ordinarily tell me. And that's what the question I'm asking. And again,
me.
No, I'm not trying. Yes.
Yes, come on.
Now you get it.
Call it a spade.
It's the cheapest fucking trick in the book, bro. It's the only one I know. I know one trick. Get him drunk and tell them to tell me shit.
Now it's all coming out. Hey.
You don't have to. If you don't want to go there, or you can't think of something.
No, I have no issue. I mean, like you saying,
just play the fucking song, because it's all in there.
Exactly. I'm kind of like, I don't have an answer for you, but the song is the answer. Like
Let's
I said
do that
at the beginning of the interview, it's like, I'm like, I don't know how to say this. And I think if I could say it that way, I'd be a public speaker. You know, I would just get up, or like a guru or something. And it's like, no, that's not it. That's not how that's not what gripped me. That's not it. That's something I made.
Okay, well, let me ask you a very indirect question, and then let's go into home. And that is, and again, I'm not trying to pry anything. I'm actually trying to get to know you better. That's really what I'm getting at.
Well, your show is called "What's Your Poison." I did have a bit of a heads up, like that was gonna go there, and it's.
I'm not trying to catch you out. Seriously, there's no agenda on this show.
It's absolutely open, dude, and I love the space to just be straight up and honest about it. So go for it.
When you were an angry kid, what do you think you were angry at?
I think I felt angry that I had something to give that wasn't being seen.
Not being seen as a motherfucker of a...
It was like I had something, it was like, oh, I was seeing something, and the thing I was seeing was also called crazy.
Do you think you're crazy?
Well, do you know my song Going Home? It starts with, I think I'm crazy, but I'm sane. I think I've lost my way, but I'm just walking it down. No.
Honestly.
But I've gone through a process of examining and going like, God, am I crazy? And being responsible and going like, okay, maybe I should go and see someone to see whether I am. Let's check this out. And it's like, so I've really looked at this on many different angles and going like, well, in terms of handling myself, no, I'm not. I think I'm crazy when I'm not channeling and when I'm not putting my gift that comes from wherever it comes from to use. And I think we're all crazy. And we're all dangerous when we're not doing that. And I think where I'm at this phase of my life, I can see, wow, I've taken a huge scoop out of out of that and put it into music, and really, like we were saying, like made money out of it, you know, like turned it into gold, literally turned the anger into gold, something that's going to make you money, you know. And I'm in a phase now where it's like, okay, where else am I causing trouble, you know, that I can like channel more of, just everything. I feel like I'm dialing myself in, like just almost with the colors and with, it's just like everything's almost like growing and dialing in, like I'm bringing, like where am I causing trouble? Don't cause drama there. Let the drama unfold as part of the entertainment that can connect and make a difference for me and for other people. Yeah. So I felt like I had something to deliver and I wasn't delivering it. There wasn't a vehicle for delivering it. And so I caused trouble and I was difficult and I was angry. Yeah, that's what hurt me. I felt, and I still feel some of that. That's getting, I'm still like, there's something.
Do you still feel
like I've done a lot in my career, and it's like, you know, it's like, yeah, but like this, it's.
Do you still feel unseen? That's my question.
Yes.
That's heavy.
I do.
We shouldn't be your motherfucker, bro.
And I'm confused, and I guess this is where you start to distinguish. I'm like, well, am I unseen? I mean, it's all relative, like relatively, yes, but it's, you know, I do. I think it's still, it is. I still feel unseen, and I'm upset about it on a level. In a very specific way, not in a general way. I'm like, look at it. I mean, I'm just like, wow. Look at. I'm like, I make a living from music, dude.
But I get it. I understand it. It's back to the analogy of how you feel when I speak to my brother. It's something way deeper. It's not logical. You can still feel it. You still, you know.
And I think to take that, I can either take that and be resentful for it, or I can take it and open it out. And I think that's this platform is giving the space, because I've never said that before, certainly not publicly. It's like, where does that leave me? It's like, okay, well, there's still something to fulfill. It's like something's in me, like it was when I started playing music. It was like, I gotta make a pathway. It's like building. I feel like my whole career has been building a pipeline to the hot water. It's like just
a hot water pipeline.
I just want to just give it all. I want to just give it all, you know. And I think so. That's part of, like, I'm still in the process of building, still building. So that does drive me. It does drive me.
Don, you are a spectacular human. I love our friendship, man. It's fucking bananas.
Totally, me too.
I've loved having you on the show. It's been. I hope, you know, it's been quite a challenging conversation in a positive way.
It's been awesome.
As every conversation we've ever had is.
Yeah, it is. This is everyone. I'm just going to take my come out now and just challenge
This is fucking normal. But I would like for you to close my show by playing one of the greatest South African songs ever written.
Oh.
And that's my cassette song that I wrote when I was... Dude, I'm very proud to know you. I'm so glad you came onto the show. And please end with this beautiful track of yours, Home. And with that, I'll let you close the show.
Play the harmonica.
Who? Oh,
none of that. That's way into Komaki. I can't go that far. That's fine. But I did play it. There we go.
I'm home, baby. I'm home. Get it. Ladies and gentlemen, the Komaki remix of Home.
Let's do this. Hold on.
Fuck, we're in Nordic, bro.
For everybody that likes techno, it needs to be a little faster.
Home, we are home.
You see, you're a natural front man. Like, I start playing and you got to take. We would be so bad in a band together. We'd be like those two guys that just
let's
fight
start
with
a
each other
fucking band together just for that reason.
It would just be called disaster management.
Hot savage.
Exactly. That's exactly what it would be.
All right.
Okay,
I'm going to
dude.
shut up now. I'm even going to mute my mic and leave this all to you so that I don't interrupt.
All right. I'll show you that I've got this here. That's not a backtrack. When your heart is a lonely place, and there's mud and there's blood on your face, will you tell me what plagues your heart, my son? Yeah, he died of falling down. People gathered all around. Well, I don't know where I fell from, but I can feel my heart is breaking. There's a plague in my home, son. There's a plague in the world of sign. There's a plague in the place where I come from. Yeah, he died of falling down. Well, I came in and you turned around, and as I'm sliding down the wall, well, I can feel my heart is broken. So I listen to violent sounds. There's a darkness that fills the room, and I say to my son, you couldn't have come too soon. Yeah, he died of falling down, and darkness is a friend of mine. Well, I can't wear this thorny crown. Release me now from all I've broken. Oh, Dad. Oh, my son. Have I died? No, you've come. You've come home. You've come home. You've come home. You've come home. So when your heart is going down and there's nobody else around, will you tell me what plagues your heart, my son?
You beautiful motherfucker. What a... I love you, Don. Good night.
Good night, my man. Thanks
Can't
for
say
having
anything.
me. Look forward to the next chat. Much love to everybody. Thanks for the space too. Thanks for seeing me and allowing me to share with you. Seriously, it really means the world to me. Thank you. That's for all of you.
Thank you, Don.
Much love, my brother. Cheers.